Karl Truman, the injury lawyer, joins us to talk about some great topics of interest, especially with all of the snow and ice that's been around. Slipping and falling is a huge hazard. We've got a question about that. We've got a question about texting. Several items in the mailbag. Good morning.
Morning. Great to be back again.
So many times we have to get right to phone calls and right to questions, but we want to find out more about you, Karl. Tell us about you and how you got to be where you are today.
Through a lot of sweat and hard work.
That's right. And military service, too.
Yeah, 28 years in the Army Reserve and retired last year as Lieutenant Colonel, and very proud of that. And want to thank all of the men and women serving overseas.
Absolutely.
It's in harm's way. It's easy to forget about that when we're all safe here and cozy in our beds, and it's easy to forget about all the people that are in Afghanistan and still in Iraq.
That's right. And then we see on your advertising when the colonel is standing up for us, that's true. He really is a colonel, and that's the best part, a military man through and through. Talk to us a little bit about the areas in which you practice law.
Well, we focus just on personal injury matters, meaning that, some lawyers try to do everything, whether it's wills and estates, and then do a divorce, and then do criminal, DUI. So we don't try to do it all. We just focus on what, we feel we do best is all aspects of injury claims. It could be being in an automobile accident, or being hurt on the job, or, a disability claim. I even do maritime claims on the river. All aspects of, where people get hurt and we're having to hold someone else accountable for making bad decisions, whether it is a bad decision on staffing or bad decision on driving and texting or talking on your cell phone. So there's a lot of issues like that we look at.
And speaking of texting while driving, we actually have an email, Karl. This is from David in Louisville. He says, can you explain the ban on texting while driving that went into effect recently? I think the beginning of this year.
Yes.
I remember it passing, but didn't hear much about the specifics. This is a good question. I'd like to know something about this.
Well, the specifics is don't do it.
Exactly.
Or you get a ticket.
Okay.
Well, we've talked about for a long, long time now how dangerous it is to text on your cell phone and drive. Well, Kentucky did have I think the wisdom and foresight to actually make that a law, which is in effect now, that you get a ticket if you're caught texting while you're driving your car. And they're really doing it. Someone just told me the other day that a friend of theirs was at a stoplight and texting, or at least the police officer thought they were texting, and they got a ticket.
Wow.
So they are really enforcing it.
And as a comedian says, if two hands are required to do something, it's always a good idea to have your brain involved.
Right.
And that means driving, not texting.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow. And I would wonder, how do they know you're not making a phone call or something? I wouldn't want to argue with them because they're trying to keep the roads safe.
Or looking at my calendar, which happens to also be in my phone. I mean, any operation of the phone that is not this is now against the law when you're driving or operating a motor vehicle, whether you're at a stop sign or not, I guess.
It's a good idea to just leave your phone alone while you're driving anyway.
Use a hands-free or Bluetooth.
That's what I was going to say.
There
Yeah,
you go.
definitely use that. But is it as easy as you can go across the river and text while driving because this is Kentucky?
Well, a lot of states have different laws, of course, but hopefully it'll become more uniform. It just really, it's something that just has got to be stopped, because it is more dangerous to text while driving than it is being drunk driving.
Wow.
Those are
good thing to
incredible
know.
statistics when you stop to think about it. Here's another snowfall and ice question, and I know one of our salespeople actually had a bad slip and fall, and so we know how badly you can hurt yourself when you fall. I live in an apartment.
I haven't gotten his call yet.
Oh, well, we're going to send him your way. I live in an apartment. I'm not sure who's responsible for maintenance dealing with winter weather. During the last snowfall, I slipped down my stairs at the complex and may have sprained my ankle. I don't have health insurance. So would I be responsible? This is Julia in New Albany. She's not responsible just because she doesn't have health insurance, right?
Well, to get to the doctor and get your treatment, yes, you're responsible to get your to treatment. But that question brings up kind of a side issue that is very important that people have to think about when we involve a commercial property, whether it's an apartment complex or a shopping center. That's why it's important to get us involved early in the process and quickly as possible, because there can be multiple parties involved. Kentucky, and of course, you can't say a blanket rule, but generally speaking, under Kentucky law, you only have 1 year to make a claim, Indiana has 2 years. And of course, you know, there's so many exceptions to that, so I can't say that every single case, so you can't just accept that, you know, on its face value. But that 1 year, say in Kentucky, that can go by very quickly. And so what happens is that, let's say you're dealing with an apartment complex or a shopping center. Well, you're dealing, you know, if you think, well, I have a claim against, you know, the store XYZ, whatever store it is, well, you know, are they leasing the property? And is there a lease agreement? Is there somebody else that's responsible for maintaining the property?
Right.
So there could be 2, 3, 4 people involved in that incident where someone got hurt. And if you wait till the last minute and you know, you come see a lawyer and the time deadline is running soon, you know, we don't have time to fully investigate it.
Not a good
Wow.
thing.
Whew.
If you're interested in talking to
Sounds like a
Karl
mess.
Truman, especially our account executive who fell, dial 1-800-ACCIDENT or check trumanlaw.com, and that's where the Colonel is going to be to answer your questions and take you through the process. It's a daunting process sometimes, Karl.
It is. It surprised me when I hear people think that, well, the insurance company will be fair with me. I
Oh,
can do
yeah.
it myself. I don't need a lawyer. I mean, this is all I do, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I feel like I learn something new every day.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank
And
you.
once again, it's 1-800-ACCIDENT and trumanlaw.com. Thank you so much, Karl Truman.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.